Good morning. I decided to do a quick tutorial on a flower that I made. I think it was like a rust color with some gold mixed in it. And a couple people asked would I do the video. I believe it is a video out. And forgive me for not remembering whose video it is because I would love to give them credit. Um, so if anyone knows, we can definitely add that in the comments. So I'm gonna just use a 8-inch frame. I'm starting to like these on the flowers because you can make them a little bigger, and if somebody's putting it on their front door, I think the last one measured about 18 inches, which is a pretty decent size for your front door. And of course, you can probably get it bigger. I think the last time I started on the second row. So of course, if you go out to the last one, you could probably get it to reach a little further. So I have the 8-inch frame. I have some ribbon because I'm not sure what I'm going to do with this center yet. Um, I have some foam because I think I'm going to braid the center, but I'm not sure yet. We'll see as we go. Of course, you need some scissors or scissors. um, I have these because these are my good ones, and I don't want to cut the wire on the pipe cleaners. You need the pipe cleaners if I did not say that. Um, you need mesh, and I cut this in 10 inches. So this is 10 by 10. I will, in the description, I'll make sure I put how many petals that we needed for this project because I'm not sure. I just cut. So you see, I actually have some pre-made so that I won't bore you with my folding. So I am going to, and of course you're going to need a glue gun. Um, if you're going to do, depending on the center you're going to use, um, you need the glue gun. I, this mesh is really thick, and I did some yellow to mix in there. That's kind of your store-bought mesh that I bought from Michael's. And I don't know if I really like it with this fold because it did not, um, it doesn't look as good as the other ones. I cut everything with a wood burner trying to keep the fraying down. It did for this one. And like I said, this is really good thick mesh. So if you have that, I would probably use that. Poly burlap would probably work really well with this type of petal. Um, but this is the thinner one. And I mean, it looks okay. And it's going to be mixed in, so it should be fine. But it was a little more fraying because this is a little thinner. Um, and I don't know. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But I'm just telling you guys if you use like the Michaels mesh, some of the mesh, I don't know how the complete flower, if you use it for the complete flower, how the complete flower would look. But I'm sure it'll be fine. Um, so as I said, I already pre-made some of them, and I'm going to show you what I did. So I have the 10-inch mesh, so it's 10 by 10, and I folded it in a triangle. Hopefully you can see this. Maybe my black top would be better for this color. This is a pretty color. It's like a blue, I guess, and it has like some yellow undertones in it. So I'm gonna move this because maybe you can see it. Yeah, you can see it much better on the black. So I folded it in a triangle. I try my best to make sure that it's cut even enough that these corners actually attach. Um, because when you do it, it's going to, let's see, making sure I explain this right. You want to make sure that these corners meet because when you do it, you're gonna have an overlap. So, so I did it in a triangle. As much as possible, I tried to get these corners to meet, and I'm just going to take the edge of the triangle and I'm going up to the center of that. You could scrunch it, squeeze it, however you want to do it to get this. This is what we're trying to get. I'm just bending it up some, and then I'll take my pipe cleaner and put it in the center. I know I've seen these flowers done, and people actually twist the two petals like this to get that effect. So you could definitely do that. It would be a similar type of wreath, um, but you know, I did this, and we're gonna layer it so it can still have that effect. This mesh, because this mesh is sort of thick, it's a little harder to do it like that. Maybe I should have thought about doing it for the yellow one. I'll show you that again. So we're going to make a triangle. You don't really care about the bottom point because you're going to push it up. So again, a triangle. Can you see? And I am going to just go push up. And it even makes a difference with this mesh because it's so thick. And maybe that's why the yellow didn't come out as well, because it's thin, and as I push it, it was starting to fray. I did cut the pipe cleaners in half. I probably could have did it in threes because I'm using an 8-inch. And who likes to do all that cleanup in the back when you finish a roof? So I'm just cutting it in half. And then do it one more time. That it fell. Excuse me. Again, really simple. Triangle. And I'm straightening it out. And I am going to push up the center. That's so. Pinch it. Take my pipe cleaner. I'm pushing up some. Take my pipe cleaner and just attach it through the middle. And twist. I twisted twice. Of course, you're going to need your green or whatever color leaves that you want. I always put mine on last, and I know I probably should put them on first, but sometimes I don't know which green I want to use. So I always wait until I put it, do it on some of the wreaths, the flower wreaths. Some of them I just go ahead and do it in the beginning because it's much easier. Because with this way, now I got to go and squeeze in the back. But I'm going to start on the second row, or the second from the top. And I'm going right to that middle, to that frame going up. And I'm just going to attach. I actually put the pipe cleaner between that middle frame and the two, the second one and the top one, or the last one, however you want to say it. And I give it a couple of twists if you want to make sure it's really secure, because see how that's, you could definitely take your pipe cleaner in the back. If you're doing it on a bigger frame, you would probably want to do the first two instead of one frame, instead of one wire. That makes sense? So again, I'm going to take this and we're just going to secure it a little more. I don't always do this because at the end, when you're tightening up everything in the back, attaching pipe cleaners to each other, you can actually tighten it up, and it won't, move around, shift. So not all the time is necessary, but sometimes. So I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna put, I don't remember how many I did. So sometimes I'm just adding as we go. I am going to put one in the center for right now, and we're gonna see how that comes out. So attaching it to that second from the top, and I'm going to give it a twist. And I'm doing, if you can see, I want it not in the center of that section, but it's sort of over to the side. closer to this middle frame, because what I'm trying to do is get this this petal to look like it's in the middle of the first petal I put down. So then I'm going to go around again. I don't know if I should mix the yellow right now. I'm going on the middle, um, I'm going to the next section where the next row is. The middle bar, should I say. That's what it is. One day I'm going to get it together and we're going to understand. Oh, so I'm giving that just a good twist. It's okay if the next one does not go in the center like that effect. Let me move back. That effect we're trying to do, because when you start down in the next row, you're going to make sure that they are layered over the next petal, so that that petal that you're putting down, one of the petals is going through the center of the previous petal. Let's add a yellow in. This is the bad thing about the mesh, the ends sort of. The only one that I'm concerned with that overlaps correctly is that one I put in the center. After I do that middle crossbar, I want that one pushed over some to make sure that one overlaps. The next one we don't care, because the next row you're going to be able to cover that up. And I'm not trying to add the yellow to get a pattern. I keep getting out of frame, sorry. I just want to mix the yellow in. This is really bad. See that everything is attaching to each other. Again, when you do that middle crossbar, go in between the two and the bar, so that it's secure. All right. So it looks like on this 8-inch frame, let's see how many we have going around the first row. And of course, you could always go add in, fill in when you see gaps. Like, I don't like that. It's probably too gappy. It's probably going to be really hard to cover that up with the next row, or it's not going to be enough, should I say. So all of them so far, I've done the middle crossbar and then one in the center all the way around, except this last one, because it looked like it's too much of a gap. So I'm going to do 2 in the center of this one. We'll see how it comes out. You're making it, so you want to make it to your taste and as full as you want it to be. Some people don't like really full ones. They want it really thinner. Excuse me. So all the petals are really defined. All right, so that is, let's see. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 9. So 9 on the first row. We're just going down, starting to the second one. I'm starting right at another cross. Nope, I'm not. Let me not tell you that. I'm not going to start on a cross. Excuse me, the middle crossbar. I'm going right before it, because remember, our goal is to overlap these petals. So because I went on a crossbar, I'm going to try to avoid going on these crossbars again in the second one. I told you guys, sometimes I just get to making stuff. I don't know what I'm doing. and I get going. So forgive me if I sound like I don't know what I'm doing. Um, we just got to play with it sometime. So that's right on the side of the crossbar. And you see what it's doing? Covering up that center gap of the one before. And then I'm just going to go all the way around. And my goal is to make sure I have a petal going in between the one prior to that and the one on the next row. If you don't tighten it, do the double tightening in the back, you can always shift it, see, for now, and then go and tighten it later. This is why I said I don't think I could have cut it in 3, the pipe cleaner. See all that extra hanging out? That's wasting pipe cleaner. Or Chanel stem. I hope I cut enough. So in this one, so I'm in the midsection of the next row, which is the second part of the frame, the second row or second wire on the frame, and I'm in the first section. And so far I've put 3. I've put 3 in one section. Unlike before at the top, I had just 1 in each section. I'm not doing the middle crossbars. I'm just doing the center. So if you try to explain to people, you don't have to use my mistakes and not knowing exactly what you're doing. Oh, okay. So the second section on the next row, I did 3 in that first one. I'm just gonna do 2 there. So maybe that's what's gonna have to happen when you do it every wire row that you come down on the wire. One section is probably gonna have more than the others. So this one had 3. It looked like 2 is fine for right there. I hope you guys cannot hear my daughter blasting her music upstairs. She's getting dressed, and I guess you know these teenagers, they gotta have music to get dressed nowadays. Now she's singing. Or rapping, should I say. And it's unfortunate that my little my little table and little video setup is right underneath the bathroom upstairs. So I can hear everything, even if you all can't. And I'm hoping that's not the case. So that's 2 in that section. Maybe I should have told her I was making a video. She would have turned it down some. 1. Should add another yellow. I don't know what this flower is called. What are we gonna call it if it's not a name already for it? Okay, so that was 2 right there. Look like it's okay. It's nice and full. So that was 3 in one section and 2 in the others. I'll make sure I'll give you guys a count when I go. Now I'm going down to the last one. And I can go on the frames again. On the middle crossbars, I'm sorry. And just start the overlapping process all over again on this one, on the bottom one. Remove all of my stuff. Can I tell you guys that I was recording and I happened just to look up and I noticed that it wasn't recording anymore. My phone is so full of things. I have to figure out how to get stuff off that is not gonna do this. I do have a camera that I better learn how to use. So I went ahead and I finished off the bottom row, and I just did pretty much what I did at the very first row. So one on the crossbar, one in the center, and all the way around. And I mixed the colors. So for the center, I'm thinking what I wanted to do was braid the center or do something like that. Or I have this that I can do and paint. Or I could always just add this to the center. So to do the braided center, I'm pretty sure you guys have seen it on a lot of the videos, other videos, and I believe Julie Reese has a tutorial on how to braid the center. So I'm just gonna do it quick, and I'm using ribbon. I think a lot of times people use the mesh, but I'm gonna use ribbon. So I'm taking the and I think I'm gonna do yellow. So I'm just going to measure out 3 pieces that are pretty much the same length. This may not be big enough, but hopefully it is long enough. If not, you could always attach the next one. Start another row. I'll see how the center look. Not sure how I like it, or if it's gonna lay right. And because you're doing this style, you want whatever your center is gonna be, it needs to be something that you could sit on top. So with this, like something like this, the foam, you could sit it right on the top, so you could have that, you know, the effect that is coming out of there. If you go underneath it, if you find like a ball or something to go underneath that, then you're gonna see your pipe cleaners or whatever you use to attach it. So you need a center that's going to be able to sit down on here. Or if you if you decide to do this in a bigger frame, on a bigger frame, if you did the plastic grid in the center, you would have to add some petals closer to, say you use the foam, the half ball foam, you would actually attach this, because of course this will be, the center part will be larger. So you would do the plastic grid so you can attach the ball and have enough room that you can then slide that petal underneath there to hide those pipe cleaners. So for the braided, I have 3 pieces of the ribbon. It's going to tie the top into a knot. This is the part I don't like. So I am using, holding this with my teeth. You could actually find something. The longer it is, one time I stepped on it and braided up because it was too long to do it. Let me see if I have something else. Yeah, attach it over here to my little piece and hold it and braid, and you guys could actually see. But you could just throw it in your mouth or something. Guess I can't do it. And I'm just braiding. Sorry if I'm going too fast. Because this is my mouth, of course I can't talk. But the longer you cut your ribbon, mesh, whatever you're using, make sure, I don't know if you all know how to braid. I actually braid hair too. Guess I'm a jack of all trades. You have to untangle the bottom as you go. So braid. Let's see. Okay, I'm gonna try to hold this right here so that I can get the rest. And who cares if your braid isn't perfect, you're just rolling it up. So I'm braiding all the way to the center, to the end, as far as I can go. You really don't have to worry about this unraveling. If so, then we could just add just like a little dab of glue on here to make sure it doesn't. But be careful, because now you have to touch it, and the glue is extremely hot. I have plenty of burns to show you. So then you'll have your braid, and I'm pretty sure this is not enough, so we'll have to braid another one. And I'm just going to trim off the end a little bit. Then I'm going to take the end, and I'm just going to roll it up. And we'll add a little glue, a little dab of glue as we go, to make sure that it's holding. Just a little dab, because you don't want to burn your fingers as you continue to roll. So I'm just rolling it around, and I am trying to make sure it stays flat. If it starts to lift, just add a little dab of glue. Try to be careful so you won't have it showing. I knew that wasn't enough. That's all I got out of that. So if that happens, then you just take another braid. And keep going. We'll trim the end right here. Oops, this is coming apart. So you'll have something like this. Of course, that's not big enough, right? So I do have this braid that I did start. I'll finish this up and then just cut another couple pieces. I don't have to necessarily dab this with some glue because I'm just going to keep adding it to my circle and making sure you kind of hide the phrase. Add it to my circle where I stopped. And I'm just going to keep going around until I get this center as big as I want it. Probably going to add a little more glue because mine is coming apart some as I go. And I know it takes a minute sometimes for the glue to dry and adhere to whatever material you have. But I'm trying not to be too messy so that you won't be able to see, you know, the glue coming through the middle. So I'm trying to go on the side as much as possible. I'm going to cut a couple more of the strips of the ribbon, braid a little more. You could twist this if you don't know how to braid. Twist it tightly because it's just going on the side. If you were doing it on the foam, you could have braided and laid it flat, which what I should have did. Just laid it flat on there so you could actually see the braid. All right, I'm gonna cut a couple more strips. Okay, so I braided, continue braiding this, and this is what I came up with. You can just take this and glue it down right here and be done with it. Because this mesh is a little thicker, I decided to cut a little circle underneath and place it underneath here so I could zip tie it down and it could stay a little firmly. And I'll have to go back through here because you can see when you remember I said be careful with how you glue it. You can kind of see some of the glue up, so I'll make sure I go through that and clean it up a little bit. So I'm just gonna add a little glue on here. I think I had my glue gun on too long. Do your glue get stuck? Like, it's like literally hard to get out because I think when I have the glue gun on here too long, it starts to melt in the center part. So I'm going to do it this way because otherwise I'm going to have glue all over my table. I am still going to glue this down to the center, but just to make it a little more secure, I'll go back and add some zip ties or maybe even attach some of these long pipe cleaners that I do have stuck on here. So I'm just going to, so it would go straight in the center and making sure that it covers all of your pipe cleaners. So it go down like this. So let's add a little more glue closer to the edge of it. This really sucks. My glue gun is like super slow. Gotta hurry up before it dries up, starts to dry. Yeah, there it goes. It had been on for too long, so it didn't want to stay. All right, be careful not to get any of the leaves in there so you could make sure that you, or the petals, I'm sorry. Make sure you can adjust it properly. So I'm just gonna push it on there, and I'm probably gonna take some pipe cleaners and find the closest thing push it down. And I still couldn't figure out which leaves I wanted. I have like a lime green, then I have a darker green. So I like this green. Now it's more of a summer, springish uh, leaf that you would use on one of your flowers. Unfortunately, I don't have this in mesh. I only have it in poly burlap. So hopefully it doesn't make the petals come up too much. So I'm just going to add a couple of these on here um, onto the end. And as I always say when I do a flower tutorial, you should probably do this first so you don't have to go through all of this like me. So I'm going to um, the top wire because are part of the frame because we didn't use it for a petal. You can use it and then stick your petals in between, or you could, add uh, do the leaf um, and add one petal to it. I did a mixture of the fold. I'm sorry I didn't show you. Hopefully you guys are able to see. So I folded this one, and this one I did in the same way as I did the petals in this flower. So I think I'm gonna just go in between um, and mix it up and see how it comes out. I didn't do many of them. I'm not gonna tighten it really tight right now because I want to see, how it looks. So I'm just spreading them around enough that you're able to see it underneath the flower. And I did cut these leaves at 12. Um, I think it was 12 by 12, so that it can stick out further than the other ones. I don't know if doing the shape of the leaf is gonna really make a difference, but I thought maybe you'll see some difference. I usually do all the same type, but I was thinking, why not try something else? You gotta play with it, have fun with it, make it your own. And as I said, sometimes the poly burlap is so thick that it may push up your petals a little further. So it'll flatten you. Of course, if you have that problem with mesh or with the poly burlap, just put something on top of it and flatten it down some. So it won't be so fluffy. You may not want it as fluffy. All right, you guys. This is what we have. I will make sure I count exactly how many we used. Of course, you want to, this came out really pretty. Of course, you want to go to the back. You could probably trim some of these, but go and clean up your back, attach it. It's going to make it more stable, although they're in there pretty good. And because this mesh is like really thick and it's a premium type of mesh, I don't really have to do much fluffing. That's the difference. For me, you don't have to do much fluffing. You're just sort of moving it in position of how you want it. So of course I'm going to clean this up in the back, and because I have all of this, I will take some felt and put the felt on the back and make sure that it's all nice and pretty. Yeah, I'm gonna cut some. This is a lot. Unfortunately, I wasted all this extra pipe cleaner. But again, thank you for watching. I hope I didn't bore you. Um, Here's our finished product. Let me know if you have any questions. I hope you like it. Hope you can see it well. It's really cute. I like how this petal kind of curled up. Gives it different look. So I will fluff. The yellow is the other mesh that I was talking about. It's sticking a little bit, so you want to make sure it's fluffed out a little bit. I will spray this with a clear coat, mainly because the yellow mesh is so thin, and it's attaching to things. And I want to keep it from fraying so somebody can have it for a long time. I'll see you all soon. Again, if you have any questions, feel free and leave it in the comments. Thank you for watching again.